Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. I'm Penelope Williams, and my pronouns are she, her, and I'm honored to be here as your creative arts director and to be welcoming a musical guest as she approaches the stage. I just want to share with you a few introductory remarks, if you will, because it's warranted. If you could, all right, she's going to tell her grandkids are going to get on to me for letting her enter that way, but I'm so glad you're here. Clarice Polk is in the house. Yes, she is. And Pastor Clarice Polk, I love this comment. This is what Reverend David was saying. She's the matriarch of the Spirit and Truth Sanctuary. You are the matriarch, that's right. But her son, D.E., is the senior pastor at the Spirit and Truth Sanctuary. And D.E. and his entire family are close friends with our beloved Reverend David Alexander. But Clarice, she has been inducted as an honored minister at Morehouse College, along with other ministers, for her body of work in the field of musical ministry. Her oil portrait and name have been added to the Hall of Honor and Board of Preachers at Morehouse. Isn't that amazing? I just love that. That is just so profound. She received her Bachelor of Music degree from University of Tennessee and has a book to be released in 2024. I'm holding you to it because okay. I know it's hot off the press. She and her husband, Pastor Don, you're celebrating 63 years of marriage. I've been following you.
Good.
Yep. And they were founders of the great Cathedral of the Holy Spirit, along with Don's elder brother, the late Bishop Earl Polk. Clarice is a master of the piano, and we are honored to have her here with us today. Please welcome again, Clarice Polk.
Thank you.
Well, she plays from her heart, doesn't she? Yes, so let's sing from our heart, shall we? Come on, stand on your feet. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, so grateful for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. Yes, the love of God is here. made my piano do that. I was amazed. Clarice Park, once again, give it up. She'll be back. Oh, that. See, I was so distracted. Reverend Susan's looking at me, and now, Penelope? She's cueing me. So just take that deep breath, that deep cleansing breath. Let's have prayer. We are held in the hands of grace, amen. Forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. Sing with me. We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace.
Coming from the mind of God into me as a manifestation of that mind, I know that indeed truly all is well, no matter what appearance. It is not, let there be peace on earth, let it begin with me. It is, there is peace, and it is within me, and it is when every other person and being and atom in this universe. And I know that peace is possible. I send heartfelt and soul-felt vibrations throughout this universe, declaring there is peace now. And from that inner knowing, I take mindful action, whatever I am led to do, to increase the amount of love in this world, the amount of joy in this world, and the peaceful coexistence of all peoples. I know that despite any appearances right now, anywhere on this earth, that peace is possible. I know that we in this center are peaceful, loving, and our message of oneness goes out to all who have ears to hear. And those who have not heard yet are feeling an irresistible pull to come to this teaching, to know more. I know that within me, I may feel many different things, anger or frustration, shame, blame, whatever. But I know within me there is a solid core that knows and knows that it knows that all there is the divine. And I and everyone else in the sound of my voice open up more and more to that knowing every day. I am so grateful for being here, for everyone here in attendance, for our Reverend Dr. David in the message, for Reverend Clarice, and I'm especially grateful to her for playing Malagueña. And I know that what we have is what the world needs, and that part of the world that needs specifically us is coming and is already here. So with a joyful heart, with a grateful heart for all the support we receive through the many, many channels, I simply say thank you. Thank you. My heart is open. It is already done in the mind of God, so it must be done here in the physical, and we watch it appear every passing moment. So I simply say namaste, aloha, blessed be, shalom, amen, and together, and so it is.
We are held in the hand safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace. So it is.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, let's try it again. Good afternoon. There we go. Hi, I'm David Alexander. My pronouns are he and his. I'm the spiritual director here at Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. It's my great joy to welcome you into this spiritual experience that you are having, that your soul is unfolding with as we speak. We are part of a movement called Centers for Spiritual Living, which we invite you to explore online to learn more about that. New Thought, Centers for Spiritual Living, all of those things, if those are new phrases or ideas to you. Just Google them. It'll tell you everything. But we do invite you to explore and let us know if you have any questions. You'll hear more about opportunities to do that after the service towards the announcements. I want to welcome all those watching on Facebook Live and YouTube now and throughout the week as we go through this experience. And in the meantime, we have a new course on our education site, newthoughteducation.com, and it's all about just the basics of New Thought. It's there's some video clips in it, but it's mostly just PDF and some prompting questions that you can download, self-paced, guide yourself through, and it's just a primer, especially if the things that I say, like New Thought, Science of Mind, Centers for Spiritual Living, if those are new to your ears, it's perfect for you. Or if you've been around forever and you want to refresh yourself, you can do that as well. So check that out at newthoughteducation.com. Let us know if you have any questions. I want to congratulate our outreach team that had a successful service project yesterday with the Mad Hatter. Those of you who were there helping build, would you stand up, please? I see a few folks, along with, okay, a few more in the booth, in the kitchen. They're serving right now in the kitchen, along with our board member, MC Farmer, who serves on the board of that organization as well. Congratulations, and we look forward to more projects with them in the future. Did you have a good time? It was fun? It's good stuff. All right. Reverend Lane Morgan is here. Hey, how are you? Welcome home. CSL Tampa Bay and Regional Support Coordinator for, what is it, the Southeast region? Is that what they call it, or just South? Region 9. Oh, how about that? We're numbering them now. Okay. Region 9 for Centers for Spiritual Living. So we're grateful for her service and for her eternal connection to Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. Welcome home. We have longtime political legend of DeKalb County, Commissioner, I got to get your name right because I just met you, Liana Levitin. Commissioner Levitin, former DeKalb CEO. Come on, give her some more love. Been involved since the 70s. She told a great little story just before the service about being in a meeting in 1973, which is before I was born. She was joking with Penelope, but just by a little bit. And somebody needing some support, and the person said, "You were a commissioner at that time?" Yeah, and they said, "Now I'm going to need all of you gentlemen. I'm going to need all of your support." And she raised her hands as she was a duly elected commissioner of DeKalb County, and she said, "Well, I guess you don't need mine." And she said from that, right? And she said from that moment on, it was instead of gentleman or sir or that, it was commissioner. Was the appropriate response. So we like to practice proper pronouns here, and she's been doing it since 1973 in DeKalb County. So God bless you. And of course, if you came in a little bit late and missed the introduction, Pastor Clarice Polk, 63 years of ministry in the greater Atlanta area, music ministry with her husband Don, with with Earl, and with her whole family. Really, if you don't know the Spirit of Cathedral family, and I see some members here there this morning or this afternoon with us, excuse me, as well. You owe it to yourself to get to know who they are. They are legends here, integrated ministry here in Atlanta, long before anybody else had done it. I think you and the Unitarian Fellowship were the two way back in the day. And Clarice in particular, what I want to say is that the ministry of arts, music, and not just music, but creative arts, integrated into worship services. You've all seen miming with the music and the color banners and dance and all of that kind of stuff. This woman right here broke those barriers and said, why can't all that be part of service? Why is it just hymns from a book? Am I right? Am I telling the truth? I am telling the truth. This woman broke all those barriers long before I was born. Been doing it ever since. She is a legend. Her family is a legend. It's an honor to have her here today. Did you hear her playing that thing? She's going to do it again here in just a minute. But my God, she's in the Martin Luther King Hall of Preachers at Morehouse College, in the Hall of Honor there, oil portrait. And she has just been doing amazing things and supporting and being a part of an amazing family that has been doing amazing things here in the greater Atlanta area for a long, long time. And it's an honor to call her a friend and to have her here today. So welcome everyone again. Today we are continuing our series on playing with paradox. And I forgot to bring it up. It's Science Mind Magazine. The magazine this month is kind of a paradox, right? It's 2 issues in one. And when you're looking at the September issue, you're going, well, where's October? Because it didn't come in the mail. And so it's the backside of, what did I do with it? I thought I had it. But anyway, it fell down there. It's under my chair. So it in and of itself, this is the first time we've done this in 96 years of publishing the magazine. Thank you, Penelope. It is the longest running spiritual publication in the country and perhaps the world. Yeah, absolutely. Our own, started by Ernest Holmes in 1926. And so that's the September cover. But you have to turn it over and turn it around to get the October issue. Right? Did I do that right? There we go. So playing with paradox. So that side is September, that side is October. How'd they do that? I don't know. You got to get it and find out. So double printing now for the first time, and I think it's kind of spiritually ironic and fun that playing with paradox is one of the messages or themes of the first issue that they did this with. So we're going to be talking about that all month long. I want to thank Reverend Raymond Anderson for kicking us off last week. Did a great job. You're going to hear from Reverend Ursula next week and myself as well throughout this series. And so today our affirmation is this. I'll say it again. It's our affirmation for the month for our series on paradox. I'll say it one line at a time and then ask you to say it after me, and then third time all together. Take a deep breath. Today I embrace a paradox mindset. As I welcome paradoxes into my life, I awaken to the divine harmony that flows through all things, reminding me of the interconnectedness of all life. Today, I see the allness of God through paradox. So I'll say it and then invite you to say it after me. Today, I embrace the paradox mindset.
Today, I embrace the paradox mindset.
As I welcome all paradoxes into my life, I awaken to the divine harmony that flows through all things. Reminding me of the interconnectedness of all life. Today, I see the allness of God through paradox. Take in a deep breath. And let's do it one more time together with one voice. Today, I embrace a paradox mindset. As I welcome paradoxes into my life, I awaken to the divine harmony that flows through all things, reminding me of the interconnectedness of all life. Today, I see the allness of God through paradox, and so it is. And let's welcome back again Pastor Clarice Polk. Come on. Get on your feet and welcome this great woman, this amazing legend of Atlanta. Yes.
There was such a thing as secular music, this kind of music, that kind of music.
I just want to sit down and just shout out requests, don't you? No music, not a sheet of music in front of her. Just give her some more love. Clarice Polk. Yeah. Wow. Take a breath. It's good to be in this space together today. I just need another moment to feel that. Just let that resonate through the room. Thank you. Love you too. How you doing? Oh, good. You didn't have a hula hoop for me?
No, I looked.
I know. We'll talk about it in a minute. All right, take a breath. Allow yourself to feel awakened to this moment, to the insight, to the revelation, to Spirit moving in through and as you and having this experience this day. Go ahead and take a breath and say, I'm awake. Again, I'm awake. A third time, I'm awake. Here we go. Now feel yourself available to insight, wisdom, inspiration, whatever you came in the door seeking. Know that it's already here, in, through, and as your very self. You'll hear it through my voice or through the piano or through some other aspect of the service. Perhaps you've heard it already. All you need to do is make yourself available. Go ahead and say, I'm available. I'm available. I am available. Another deep breath in. Knowing that all is here now. The present moment is the only moment that there is, and in this moment there is enough for everyone and everything, for you and all that you are. In the fullness of God, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. And if you feel all of that, the enoughness, the availableness, the awakeness in you, take a deep breath in from the soles of your feet all the way up. And say, I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. All right. Some of you are like, I'm ready. Got to go convince yourself or go back to I am awake. That's all right. We'll keep working on it. Rev Raymond did a great job getting that energy up with that last week, didn't he? He sure did. Amen. So today we're talking again about this playing with paradox, and the tools for today are the following. Spiritual tool is the principle of oneness. The spiritual law is the law of connection. All things are connected. And the spiritual practice today is that which Reverend Raymond invited us into last week, which was curiosity. He said, question everything, right? Question everything. So we're going to be questioning a lot of things and just holding in curiosity. It's a powerful spiritual practice to simply hold in curiosity that which is challenging us. If I told you nothing else, or if you took nothing else away from today's service, that in and of itself would be a spiritual practice that would transform your life. That when you're in conflict, with what you're seeing on the news, with you're in conflict or heartache with what's happening in Israel right now, and or anywhere else in the world where there's pain and devastation taking place, or there's conflict in your neighborhood or conflict in your family, to just behold it with curiosity will open up for you a whole new level of awareness that is not available to you if you're holding it some other way, in judgment, in your self-predetermined conclusions about what is right and what is wrong and all of this stuff that comes with that. And so today, so there we have oneness, connection, and curiosity. As we continue this week, this month, to play with paradox, today we're going to kind of look at polarities that exist in our lives. The attachment that we have, as I was just mentioning, to one perspective or another, that the ways in which those attachments can cause suffering in our awareness. And to remind ourselves that we have to be willing to be open to understand from an affirmative point of view and to find something beyond the polarities of this or that, right? This way or that way, and find what someone might call a third way. A little bit reminder from last week in our first week of this series that paradox is a noun. Paradox is defined as a statement that seems to contradict itself, but may nonetheless be true, right? A statement that seems to contradict itself, but may nonetheless be true. Or it could also be considered a person, a thing, or a situation that exhibits inexplicable or contradictory aspects, right? Polarity is not, and we'll discover this as we go through the information today. It is not. Paradox is not just polarity. Right? We're going to talk a lot about polarity today, but those are not one and the same. I've kind of given away the punchline early. Paradox and polarity are not the same thing. We think often of paradox living or living from paradox or dealing or wrestling with paradox in our life as being one and the same with dealing with polarity. But we're going to discover today that there's something else really going on when that's the case. And we have to understand how to spiritually address polarity because we have a lot of polarity in our lives. We have polarity in our politics and in our value systems and in ideas about how to run the world and how to be and how to show up and how to treat each other and all of those things. And paradox is actually finding the way of mastery in dealing with all of that. And we'll discover a little bit more about that as we go. The most common spiritual beliefs, whether they're East or West or Christian or Hindu or Buddhist, most spiritual beliefs come down to the idea that there is really one thing happening here, one idea unfolding. And that idea might be anchored in dualism, right? God and the devil, light and dark, this consciousness versus unconsciousness, or something like that. Or it might be anchored in something else. We have all kinds of different ideas that float through spiritual wisdom traditions. Non-dualism, which says that there's really only one thing. There is no dualism of this and that. There's just one thing that is behind all things. Some of us probably come into New Thought because we're attracted to this non-dualistic idea. There's really only one thing happening here. Hear that a lot in prayer. Hear that a lot in spiritual messages. Read a lot about that in our source materials. Or there's an idea that's even further elaborated on that concept of non-dualism that says there's a thing as pantheism. Pantheism, pantheism, which says that God is the source of all things, right? There's no source outside of that one thing, which is the source of all things. So we can quote Ernest Holmes and the people that Ernest Holmes was studying over and over again in that idea. But there's even something more beyond pantheism. Ernest Holmes says that the universe is the manifestation of God. It is the world, or the outpicturing of everything that we see is that one, a unified thing expressing itself in, through, and as creation. But then the Declaration of Principles, or what we believe, says, but is not absorbed by its creation, right? Expressing in through this. So this one thing is expressing in through and as all things, and it's expressing as all things, but it's not absorbed by that which is expressing. So there's more to it than we see. There's more to it than meets the eye, right? And that's actually this intellectual, spiritual idea called panentheism. You take the same pantheism and put an E-N in the middle, P-A-N-E-N, theism, panentheism, which says God is in, through, and as all things, but is more than all the things that we see. In other words, it's not absorbed by its creation. There is more to it than what could be expressed in any one point of time or awareness or point in consciousness. There's panpsychism. Don't worry, there's not going to be a test later. I'm just kind of laying the foundation for where we're going here today. There's panpsychism, which says that everything is consciousness. You hear me say that quite a lot, that consciousness is all that there is, right? Including the universe, including everything that we see, feel, that it's simply an experience that we are having inside of consciousness. That's an interesting idea, isn't it? And then there's things like quantum field theory, which says everything is an aspect of one uniform field of energy. But there's also a dualistic, so there are all kind of different spiritual ideas that try to wrestle with and make sense of, and we need these ideas in order to make sense of this paradoxical living. Because there really is this existence and experience called dualism. Have you noticed? Right? There is the experience, at least we would agree, whether we call it spiritually valuably true or not is another argument, but there is the experience of good and bad. There is the experience of light and dark. There is the experience of these polarities that exist, and those polarities exist inside of this reality called dualism, right? And most of our spiritual knowledge, or our wrestling that spiritual knowledge seeks to kind of make sense of, comes from, actually, turns out, oddly enough, from this dualistic point of view, which means that it separates source, God, the infinite, creator, whatever you want to call it, from you and I, and our experience and our awareness and this tactile thing that we call form or substance or whatever. And that's actually, even though it's an attempt to try to understand spirit outside, above and beyond ourselves, it's actually a form of dualism, right? It separates form from source. And what we wanted to do is try to put those things back together today. So I wanted to get some hula hoops today because I like, kind of just a picture's worth 1,000 words, and it takes a lot of work to get it all up on the slides. And so I had this inspiration, and I went, hula hoops, get the hula hoops. And would you believe it? I only have one hula hoop. Hard to believe, isn't it? Hard to believe. I only have one. And so I'm sending a message before early this morning saying, hula hoops, I need hula hoops. Can somebody bring hula hoops? Walmart, dollar store, it's not the right season. Have you noticed? We're not in hula hoop season. Did you know that there was a hula hoop season? Spring, summer, yeah. Nobody wants to hula hoop when it's cold outside. I don't know what the deal is, but I didn't have. And so Penelope found somebody. She said, somebody said, yeah, they have a hula hoop, but it's a professional hula hoop. Now listen, I don't know what a professional hula hoop is. Well, maybe I do, but I don't want to admit to you that I've seen one of those before. Because I don't know whether I have or not. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to do some investigating later. It's the first time I've heard the term professional hula hoop. But let's just say that we have this circle here, hula hoop that I have a hold of. I did bring the one that William has. It's in the car, but without two, it doesn't work. But anyway, so in this circle, in this dimension, we're going to say that there is form, there is duality, there is experience, there is polarity, there is time and space. It's really the world that you and I are inhabiting right now. And this is where polarity lives. Paradox is not noticing that there's this and something else. Paradox is actually the spectrum of experience. So politically, we have left and right, we have conservative and liberal, we have religiously, we have all forms of polarity within religions in terms of how we express and how we think about, all the things that we talk about, God, consciousness, whether we call something the devil or evil or power or forces that have to be overcome or life hereafter, all these kinds of ideas, right? These exist on a spectrum of experience. But that polarity lives within form. It's the first thing that I want you to get. Polarity lives within form. Polarity is not the experience of noticing that there's this and then there's something beyond this, like my thoughts, which I can't seem to really, I can have thoughts and thoughts can move through me, but I'm more than my thoughts, and I'm more than what I think about, and the thoughts that create form are more than the form that they take, right? That's not paradox. That's just polarity in the spectrum. Brené Brown says, in these challenging moments of dissonance, we need to stay curious and resist choosing comfort over courage. It's brave to invite new information to the table, to sit with it, to hear it out. It's also rare these days. So polarity exists that when there's a diversity of ideas that seem at odds with each other, right? And then we're experiencing the tension of that polarity. We're experiencing it in our politics. We're experiencing it in our ideas about how to be together as a human family on this planet and what to do about laws and water and education and books that we read and all kinds of things. Right? I could throw out all kinds of examples, and we might divide the room in certain perspectives about those things, right? That's polarity, and it's challenging to sit in the midst of that polarity. Why? Because our mind wants to make sense of things. Our mind wants to take the world of experience, of form, of substance, and it wants to categorize it into neat little packages so we can find it when we need it, right? Truth is always greater than the categories we're coming up with, right? So you and I have an experience and we say, I met somebody and they're from this country and they were like this. They were very nice or they weren't very nice. Or they were, pleasant, or they gave me a gift, or they were rude to me, or they were whatever. And it's the first time you've had that experience. And then you learn that there are other people also from that. Hey, come on, praise God. Would you look at that? That's what I call a demonstration. Okay, well, I'm going to use them, but not in the way that you think. Not professionally. Because I'm still not sure what that means, nor do I want to demonstrate it to you, what I think it might mean. We'll get William in here. He's very good at the hula hoop. All right. So we have, so we like to package and order things, right? And put them in sequence and line them up. And then we say, well, all people who are like this, all people who are like the experience that I had that are from this country or this region or this or this whatever, or have this hair color or this skin color or this whatever, right? They're also like this because I've met one of those and they're just like that. So they must all be like that, right? Now, of course, we know the answer to that is no. But our brain wants to make it so, right? So that the next time we meet someone, we can say, I know something about you, even before I experience you, right? And in some ways, sometimes we're right. Sometimes, right? Because there's like this three-layered cake that's going on that I've talked about before, which is in some ways, you are like other people. Right? In some ways, you're like other people that have the same characteristics, born at the same time, or left-handedness or right-handedness, or like the same music, or from the same culture or background, or region of the country or the world, or whatever the case may be. You are grouped together in affinity groups that are similar to other people that share that same affinity, or same categorization, or same type, whatever we want to call that, right? And in some ways, you are completely unique. You're like nobody else. And in some ways, the third layer of that, you are like everybody because you're human and we're all the same and we're all one. So which is it? Are we all one and the same? Am I like these other people that share these identities that I also share? Or am I a completely unique individual that is like nobody else, even those that share the same identity as I share? The answer is yes. You are all three of those things at the same time, all of the time, right? So we have to navigate. So our mind likes to make these categories, and sometimes people say, but I'm breaking into, hang on, let me hold that thought. Let's move to the second hula hoop. The hula hoops threw me off because now I have both the visuals on the screen and in front of you. So we have that first one. Oh, this is fantastic. Okay, so there's form and experience. I was going to have somebody else hold them up, and I was going to label them. I was going to do all this stuff. But I wasn't prepared to have a miracle right on the stage. Always be prepared for a miracle. Yes, please. Come on. I need somebody else, too. Alicia, come on. Come on. Vanna Black, I love it. Come on. All right, so there's form, experience, time, all of that stuff. Now, here's our next one, which is the formless, which is non-existence, which is infinite potentiality, the infinite, all of that stuff, right? And often, we are over here, and we want to experience that. And so we do prayer and meditation and study and all of these things, and we learn that we're more than our bodies. We have thoughts, but we're more than our thoughts. We have experiences, but we're more than our experiences. So we're over here seeking to understand something somewhere else. You understand? Right? And so we reach and we kind of leap from here to there and try to grab something and pull it back over here to kind of help shape and inform who we are, right? But there's more to it than that. When we fully identify over here with our ego self, with all of that stuff that's going on, it becomes very hard to understand that there's something else going on. And we put it on this paradigm that says there's this dualistic battle going on. That you're here, but in order to be spiritual, in order to be awakened, in order to be, to manifest, in order to, right, the law of attraction, you go over there, please. Like the law of attraction, we've said that it's some kind of magical magnetism that says that over here we have to do something in order to get that to come closer, right? That's a bunch of hogwash. That's a bunch of spiritual hogwash. You don't have to do anything to get this over here. Why? Anybody know? Because it ain't over there, right? Go ahead, come together a little closer, please. A little bit closer, please. All right, stop right there. A little bit more. There we go. You live here. You live here. This is where you live. This is where reality is, right? The truth is it's all of these things all of the time. This is paradox. Not paradise, paradox. It's paradise once you figure out how to navigate it, right?
Right.
But this is actually paradox. This is knowing that I have a body, but I'm not my body. I have experiences, but I'm not my experiences. They both simultaneously exist at the same time. They seem like they're opposite to each other. They're not. Remember, duality is over here. Polarity is over here. This is, we actually hold that which seems discordant, and we just look at it and go, well, look at that. They sure look like they're opposite of each other. They sure look like they're in conflict with each other. The left and the right, the conservative and the liberal, the this and the that, whatever I've judged as morally correct and morally incorrect. They sure look like they're in conflict and causing a mess on this planet. All of that is actually over here. But paradox is just going, wow, that's fascinating. That not only is all of that duality and polarity going on, but also none of it really matters. Because God is all that there is, right? Because there's something bigger than that going on. But the mastery of paradox, right?
Yes.
The mastery of paradox is that we get to learn how to be with this idea that says, God is all there is. God is whole, perfect, and complete, right? But you could use some work. I need you to get that, right? Right? Because spiritually we go, God is all there is, but if God is all there is, and God is whole, perfect, and complete, then you don't have to work on yourself, right? No. Why? Because of the space in the middle, right? You say to your neighbor, you go ahead, look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor, God is all there is, but you could use some work. Right? God's whole, perfect, and complete, but you could use some work. Right? What does that mean? That means we're growing in our awareness. We're growing in our understanding. We're growing in our embodiment. We're growing in our ability to hold the vibration of the infinite. Polarity says, well, if God is all there is, then I don't need to do anything because God's got it. That's in the form, that's just simply laziness, right? And in the infinite, it's letting you off the hook. Because Spirit created form so that you could do the work. Oh, you need to hear that. Spirit created the form so that you could do the work. Right? So that you could be the place where the work happens. Right? Ernest Holmes was very clear that we were spiritual beings having a human experience. That we are whole, complete, all there is, that God is all there is. But the deeper truth is that we live in the paradox. So the paradox is like another example for it, and then I'll let you guys sit down. Another great example of it is if you imagine there's this great visual of like what we sort of would assume to be the earth or plane of existence. And then there's this being underneath, hidden. And genderless, formless being is poking its hand up through the crust of that creation. And it's moving its fingers, right? And the illusion is that all we can see is the tips of the fingers. And so it looks like individuality. It looks like you and me and left and right and liberal and conservative and right and wrong and all of these things. But we go underneath the surface, it's all connected. Right? But here's the thing. We think that there's something to attract together, that there's something to somehow, law of attraction, bring this into our existence, that we need to leap from one place to the other in order to spiritually awaken. Ernest Holmes understood something very deeply, which was, come down a little bit. You come up. There you go. Ernest Holmes, first of all, by the way, if you haven't caught it already, the Vescopiscus, which is a very sacred symbol of the Venn diagram. There's a fish here. You all see the fish, right? The Pope's hat, the arch windows, it's in sacred geometry. All of, we don't have time to explore all of that, but it's there, right? Now, Ernest Holmes understood something very powerfully, that it's not about trying to get something. It's about trying to integrate something into our awareness. Right? Spirit is all that there is. It's always moving into form, and we are the intersection. And so all Ernest Holmes did in his teaching was this. And he said that mind place is right here in the middle. You live here, in the intersection of spirit and form, the intersection that your consciousness is the place where these things exist. And your job is to be more and more consciously aware of that divine idea that is moving in, through, and as you. That everything that you experience as duality is experienced on a spectrum of polarity is actually happening in form, and your job in the paradox is to know the mastery that that paradox exists. And it's important, by the way, it's important to choose when you're here. Because the polarity does, the world of form matters, yes? So there's left, right, there's liberal, conservative, there's right, wrong. It's important to make those choices, not to dismiss them. Well, God's got it all worked out, and so we'll just not vote. How about that? Well, just because somebody will take care of it, and it'll just, how would that work? Not too good, right? Would that be a bad idea? You're not sure? Okay, all right. She's new here. Right? But if we just sit back and say, well, it's not my job, it's not my responsibility, there's some infinite power that'll work it all out. Well, that may be true in the full infinite expanse of time. But God's here working it out through you. It's actually why you're here. Right? So it's important to decide if you believe that clean water is a right that everyone should have, or free education, or that Black Lives Matter, or that women's health care matters, or that whatever the things that we are polarized and divided about, to make a choice, to stand somewhere on that. And what I would say is this, is that it doesn't really matter where, because it matters according to your values and your upbringing and whatever else that you might be bringing to the table. But it matters that you choose. And in the infinite of time, that's where Spirit will work that out. Well, what if I'm wrong? Well, what if one time I decided this, and then years later I was actually more this on that spectrum? I went from the left side to the right side, or from the right side to the left side, or my parents always voted over here, but then I started thinking about this. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said, a foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just make a choice, because in making the choice, you're activating the presence of God that will then, in the mix, kind of work it all right. Let's give our demonstrators, our Vanna, a round. Thank you so much. And so, let me go over these last things. Ooh, how do we get back to the beginning? Because it's all God. I skipped through everything. All right. I just want to get to the steps. There you go. Okay, so rules to play with paradox. First, learn to identify polarity. Learn to see where it exists. And when you see it, know that that's not the paradox. That's actually polarity in that one-dimensional, one-sided part of things, right? And so from that, seek that third way, that infinite knowing, that yes and perspective. Make a choice. Say, I see the polarity between this and that, right and wrong, left, right, etc., and I'm choosing this. And even while I choose this, and even while I vote this way, or even while I defend this particular way, or even while I advocate for this, or even while I do this particular thing, I know that there's something greater still, right? That way you leave the door open, because it's only when we get caught up in our conclusions that we really start to wreck things. The third thing then is make peace with the discomfort. Make peace with just holding that tension. It's going to be uncomfortable. When there's a lot of polarity, as there is right now, it's very uncomfortable. And then the last one, listen for the impossible. Listen for the impossible. I started the sermon, I said, well, I got to do it on the slides. That's why I did all the work before the service to get the visuals up there, because nobody's got hula hoops. But listen for the impossible. I saw Nabila come in. She was one of the people I texted. I just decided to mention it. What happened? Possibility showed up. I don't know. I still don't know what you did. I'm going to have to ask you later. But neither does anybody else, right? But when you listen for the impossible. So learn to identify the polarity. Seek that third way, that yes and perspective. Make peace with the discomfort in the moment. And then listen for the impossible. When we do this, we open up the doorway of our consciousness for greater and greater good to show up in, through, and as us. Because there's always infinite possibility seeking to come through the doorway of our own consciousness to make a world that works for everyone. The only way that a world that works for everyone is going to reveal itself is through the hands and the feet of those who are willing to show up and to do the work. And those that show up to do the work might get it wrong sometimes. They might step on some toes. They might, do something that turns out, nope, that's actually not the way it's going to resolve itself. That's okay. Because the doingness is important. If everything that you did had to be perfect every time that you did it, you wouldn't do anything. Right? You had to get up, you had to stumble, you had to learn how to walk, you had to learn how to talk, you had to learn how to write and to read, and you had to get it wrong sometimes. But it didn't ever took away the desire to learn more. It never took away the desire to take the next step. It never took away the desire to keep speaking, to keep writing, to keep doing math, to keep doing all the things. No matter how many times you got it wrong. You never get to this level of mastery of piano if you don't play a few wrong notes. Am I right about it? Got to play a few wrong notes every once in a while and know that it's wrong and say, oh, well, you know what? If I correct this and correct that, oh, that's the way it's supposed to sound, right? Who knows something about it? Can you clap a little bit if you're feeling what I'm saying? Take a breath. I was going to quote your son today. I actually brought the book, but we've passed that point already. So you just have to know that I brought his book, D.E. Paul's I Don't Know the Way of Knowing, one of a classic on this whole idea of consciousness and awareness and understanding. But right now, I want you to take a breath. And I'll weave it into the prayer, because that's what Spirit said to do. He says in his book, I Don't Know the Way of Knowing, he says, concluding or reaching a conclusion is only an exercise in futility and a passing, self-preserving, bad habit of the finite mind that attempts to keep us confined to the perishable mortal. However, our perishable must clothe itself with imperishable, and our mortal must put on immortality. Our demands to conclude on God and God-related subjects ultimately only awaken us to the inconclusiveness of God, the endlessness of God. Each awakening experience is laced with a certain amount of pain. The pain associated with awakening is the felt effect of the finite gradually dying and surrendering to the infinite. And the amount of pain felt with each awakening is measured to us or melted out in conjunction with the level of commitment that we have had to a particular conclusion. Watching one of our cherished conclusions crumble and then submit to inconclusiveness can be painful if the falling and the failing conclusion provides a foundation for stability and security. But this is what we must do over and over and over again, to play with the paradox and open ourselves up to greater and greater possibilities. God is all that there is, and it's seeking to move in, through, and as you in this moment. So whatever polarity you feel yourself in tension with, whatever paradox you find yourself dancing with, open yourself up to the possibility. Get comfortable with the tension and the discomfort, not knowing the answer in this moment, not knowing which way to go, not knowing where the money will come from or where the authority will come from or where the answer will be or what the right answer is. And just be. And breathe. And know that you are all of this. The confidence and the lack of confidence, the assuredness and the insecurity, the physical form and that which is beyond all physical form. You are all of that and more, infinitely so. And all the wisdom of the ages is seeking to move itself in, through, and as you. And in, through, and as this life experience. And so we look out and we see pain, we see suffering, we see war, we see disease, we see poverty and lack. But we also know beauty, wholeness, peace, love, compassion, charity, service, gratitude. And we live in the spiritual mastery of the paradox, to be the place that sees what is so, and to be the place that can hold what is possible, and to serve and love from that place. And when we do, miracles happen. Lives are changed. Healing takes place. Transformation occurs. Oh, I'm so grateful in this day to know this divine truth. I invite you to breathe into it and know it with me. Know that the I am, that I am, that I am is breathing itself as you, and that this reality is pushing itself through every aspect of your body awareness, your mental awareness, your emotional awareness, your spiritual awareness, the infinite I am that you are. It is good and very good in this and every moment, eternally now. And so we send this vibration of love and hope and peace and prosperity. We send it to Israel. We send it to Atlanta. We send it to our own backyards. We send it to our families. We send it to the world. And we allow it to come back to us with the next breath. God is as I am. And so it is. Peace and blessings. Thank you so much. Well, that was fun. We had some things come in that we moved through in a fun way. I am grateful to each and every one of you for your love and for your support of this community. You make this place possible. Each and every week there is an empty seat somewhere near you, and there is a soul, a being on this planet right now that is either in the greater Atlanta area or will be in the near future, and they want to fill that seat. They want to sit in that place. And when they do, they're going to sit down and take a deep breath and say, I always knew there was a place like this that existed. I feel so at home here. I just wish I had discovered it a little bit sooner. And that discovery is made possible through our gifts and through our sharing. So whatever form that takes for you today, if you're a part of our automatic monthly contributors, thank you so much. Hold that love in your heart. If you're making a special gift today, hold that as well. We have containers, receptacles by the doors for check and cash, anything in the envelope, anything in the physical form. If you want to do it through your phone and the miracle of technology, you can do that as well. Text to give any amount, 404-800-9467, or online or through our QR code. It'll bring up magically on your screen everything that you need to do, and you can do it right there. And that includes everybody watching at home and online and Facebook and YouTube today as well. So hold these gifts in our hands with great gratitude, knowing that you and so many other people that are not in the room that give automatically and come when they come through the room and through the space. When they do, some never come because they give online. They're here with us online in presence, but they live in other states and other places, and they contribute to this place as their spiritual home, as their place where they get fed and nourished, so they've never stepped foot in this physical experience. They're part of our home as well and our experience this day. So let us bless all of these gifts with these words. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join the divine flow. And all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And so we are. Peace and blessings. Thank you all.
Good afternoon to all my beautiful and handsome spiritual beings. Hello, I am Jamel Morris. I can. Again, I am Jamel Morris. Hello. And I serve on the creative arts team here at SLCA. For those of you who want to know more about our center or how to become a member, please connect with a welcome team member after service at the lobby or online. If this is your first time at SLCA, please stand, raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. All right, there we go. A welcome team member would like to give you a welcome card. Please take a moment to fill out and return the additional card you received to a welcome ambassador in the lobby after service for a special gift. Welcome. You belong. We have so many great opportunities to connect, grow, and serve. at SLCA. For more information about today's announcements and other opportunities, please scan the QR codes found on your monitor. If you are looking for ways to reduce negative emotions, increase your imagination, or you are ready to build skills to manage your stress, then how about joining SLCA Staff Minister Reverend Susan Zoller today during the 5 o'clock hour for meditation in room 220. It is a great way to start the week. Meditation is awesome. Ian Falker looks forward to seeing you today as well during the 5 o'clock hour as he guides everyone through the power of scripting. Ian wants us to know that we can create the life we deserve through the power of you and your divine purpose. You deserve the world and beyond. SLCA is thrilled to welcome back the amazing talents of Haji Basim next Sunday. Please plan to stay for our 5 p.m. experience where Haji will take you on a journey of meditative and healing sound. Bring your personal attention and affirmations to share together, creating a unique journey for healing. Although all are welcome, we suggest a $25 love donation to Haji. Save the date. SLCA and UUCA are joining together for a special Halloween party on Friday, October the 27th. CJ the DJ will be rocking the tunes for a dance party for a beautiful evening. We will enjoy a potluck and costume party. For those who like to bake, there will even be an opportunity to make special Halloween treats. We're looking forward to having a spooktacular time. Well, our practitioners who are available for prayer this afternoon, please make themselves known in person and on the online chat. Now to be recognized. Thank you. We welcome each of you in need of prayer to remain in the room or reach out to a practitioner online for one-on-one prayer with a licensed practitioner. In-person practitioners will be sitting in chairs on the sides of the sanctuary following service today. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to visiting with you after service in the social hall for food and great fellowship. And remember, you belong.
Yeah, thank you, Jamel. I invite you to join with me as we end our service today with our closing song. Here we go. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. Yeah, come on now. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. Everyone. You! Yeah! Have a great weekend, everybody.